In our example here, if we were to change the product ID into something other than a GUID, this would still match our action. And this can be a little bit problematic. We haven't made product ID optional, but there's nothing in the route that defines that this has to be a GUID. This is where it's appropriate to apply a route constraint. There's nothing in our route that we are defining that indicates what the product ID has to be. To apply a constraint, we add a colon. I can define that this here has to be a GUID, and now if we rerun the application and attempt to do the same thing, do you think that this will work the way it did before? We can see that we can enter this action by supplying a proper GUID, but what happens if we change this to something else? Then it no longer matches any route that we have defined. This is a much better experience. So constraints for the routes are really powerful. They're not applied by default, and when doing model binding, it's a little bit of a different story. But in our case, we could now indicate that our product ID has to follow a specific pattern. There are multiple different built-in constraints that we can make use of that will allow us to properly indicate what we expect these to be.